Hello and welcome back to the channel. That's right, we are having another look at Killing Floor 3. I wanted to do a follow-up video, and actually I want to just take a second. Can we just appreciate this awesome intro here on the menu? I love the music. The Zeds overrunning the Horizon factory. Oh yeah, man, look at that badass Scrake jumping down, that's so cool. Really sets the tone. But yeah, thank you again for coming back here and checking in again. I want to basically just more or less update everybody on where I'm at with this game. I'm about 20 plus hours into it now, as opposed to my previous video, which I made like the day I got the game, which I think was launch day. Might have been the day after, I can't remember. But I had only done like a match or two and was recording that footage, hadn't even figured out how to turn my flashlight on yet, so what we got as a result of that was a pretty dark video that didn't really showcase some of the great details in the visuals here. So yeah, we'll have another look at it here, of course, with the flashlight this time, and now I can kind of speak to more of the gameplay elements here since I've had time to really figure stuff out. I've also been playing with friends, which is great. It is, I don't know, getting more rare these days for a game to come around that can unite me with my friends list. We've jumped from game to game to game over the years, and sometimes we'll go through kind of longer spells where I don't really get to play something as much just because we'll get into different things. Most recently, I was like the one person in the friend group who was hopelessly addicted to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? But this game has got a few of us together, and it has been great, man. Doing that thing where, you got a group that all just got the game, and the game is new, and you're all figuring things out together. Man, that's a good time, right? Yeah, so I do want to talk about some of the things that I've seen people complaining about, and some of the areas where I think the game could definitely, grow and has room for improvement. Things I don't particularly care for here and there, but and I will talk about those things. But on the whole, I'm having a really good time with this. Still, I'm super into it. Like I said, like 20 plus hours in, I've jumped around through the different perks, and you're going to hear me probably interchange perk and class as I talk about this stuff. I'm just talking about like basically the skill set that you have on your character, right? So forgive me if I use those interchangeably, but yeah, now having had time to kind of check some of them out and be a little pleasantly surprised in some cases, yeah, I'm excited to kind of get back into this for a second. So let's start with, let's ruin the momentum by starting with some of the negative chat that I've seen about this game. Because some of my friends were asking me about these things right up front, right? One of my friends said, hey, I think it's the Gunslinger class from Killing Floor 2 isn't in the game anymore. It's like the one that would like dual wield revolver pistols and stuff, right? Kind of like old Western style guns was like their specialty. And there's, a number of classes that haven't returned in Killing Floor 3 from Killing Floor 2. But I think it's important to remember, one, the game is brand new. It just came out. And Killing Floor 2 has had years of support, right? And that's both in, gameplay adjustments, but also content. Yeah, all of those perks or classes, those were not available on day one in Killing Floor 2. A lot of that stuff came out over time. Maps came out over time, right? Character skills came out over time. And as I said in my previous video here, Tripwire's already laid out the next year of support, at a high level. I'm sure it doesn't include quite everything that they are going to do, right? There's going to be adjustments and balancing things and maybe some other unplanned things that they didn't cover in a single, one-page PowerPoint slide, right? But what was there was like a commitment to the game for at least a year, which I would have told you was a no-brainer based on Killing Floor 1 and 2. So to people who are disappointed that like your favorite perk isn't coming back yet, I would say just hang tight. And try these other perks, man, because some of these are way more fun than I expected. Particularly the ninja. That class is a nice surprise, man. I did not think I wanted to play a melee class in a game where it's so much fun to just sit and headshot these lower level enemies here. You know, you get that satisfying like pop 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 when you've got like 7 or 8 of them coming down a hallway all lined up and you just nail all of them, right? Like, I love that about Killing Floor. I don't think any game since like the original Halo has just had such a mastery of that like dopamine hit you get from like getting some headshots, like consecutive headshots on like lower enemies and stuff, right? That's one thing Killing Floor has always been amazing at. And so was never hot on the Berserker class, and I'm looking at the ninja and I'm just thinking like, I don't know, dude. But my friend tried it out. And he was like, yeah, you should try this, dude. They got throwables, they got a bow if you want it. You can use 2 katanas instead of just the one. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I jumped in and I tried the ninja class, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I guess. Because I've got some footage of the ninja coming up. But on the whole, I'm having a great time with the classes. I think the Firebug is cool and different from the previous Firebug in like interesting ways. I think the Sharpshooter class, which I often refer to as just the Sniper class, is a lot of fun. I think their default rifle that they get is pretty satisfying with like knocking out headshots and stuff. So yeah, and oh man, they're great, like maxed out level weapon, like purple weapon, I guess, like the best weapon you can get for the Sharpshooter. That thing is fun as hell. I had this moment the other day where I was playing in one of the maps. Here we go. This is the footage from when this happened. It's a little chicane in this long hallway, right? And I've kind of figured out that, you know, we're going to be here for a little bit, and I want to basically just check in both directions and keep putting down the enemies, and using the over-penetration that this gun has to go through more than one enemy, right? And as I'm doing this, I kind of figured out, I think that was the first time just now, I kind of figured out, oh, I can use the dash, the side dash, to kind of get into position quicker. So I just got into this kind of flow of like putting shots down the hallway, dashing over, turning around, you know, like that. There we go. And then just repeating in the other direction. And I would do this for a little while in this hallway, and it was just so fun because I just felt so like dialed in, you know? It was just cool. And so there's things like that in the game where you just kind of like find yourself in these moments where you're just kind of wrecking shop, and it feels really natural, and you feel like you're kind of organically figuring out these neat little strategies and stuff, and having your own little mini pro gamer moment. Right? I guess maybe that's not a pro gamer moment. I don't know. What is I'm thinking of like the negative connotation. I guess that's just a regular gamer moment. A pro gamer moment is probably still like some hot shit moves, right? But anyway, yeah, I've really been taking to the movement here, and you know, figuring out the little nuances and stuff, and what seems like on paper like a really small change, like being able to dash in any direction or do a running slide if you're going forward. It's particularly if you're going like down a ramp or a hill or something like that, you can do like a nice long slide, which is really fun. That stuff does not sound that big on paper, but then when you go back to playing Killing Floor 2, which I did, I put that in, I think yesterday actually, just to like see how it felt compared to Killing Floor 3, because, you know, rose-tinted glasses and all that, right? I'm a huge fan, and I just wanted to make sure, like, okay, am I remembering this being better than it is? And Killing Floor 2 is still great. I still love it, but I immediately missed the movement that you got in Killing Floor 3. I just felt like, oh, I wish I could dash. I wish I could slide. I really like that stuff from the third game. So, you know, we're already talking about little areas where I feel like there's evolution at play there, right? So, here's me playing as the ninja. And this is fun because I'm gonna have a teammate go down for a little bit, and I'm gonna jump down there and try to save him. And this is like, as I was talking about, you got throwables. So you saw the shurikens, now I've got the kunai, and I've got my buddy that I'm trying to get up here. And I'm gonna tank a couple of hits here while we get him, and then, oh, here comes the wave, here comes the horde. So I'm just putting down a shock trap, and I'm chucking kunais like they're going out of style, man. Like we're just having a fire sale on kunais. And what's fun about this is, like, when all of these guys are gone and we've kind of cleared this little mini horde out, you go collect all those kunais. They're laying all over the place on the floor, they're stuck in the walls, they're everywhere. And you'll just see me go, like, collect those. There's a few of them on the ground there. But now I've got my sword out, and that feels really good, man, with the sword. You just watch enemies crumple and slice and just fall before your blade, and that's exactly what I wanted, you know? Like, I love the Dead Island games, particularly Dead Island 2. You might have seen I did a video on the channel about Dead Island 2 and talked about how much I love it. But that game's combat, like, that's kind of what I associate with when I think of, like, melee combat in the first-person view. And so that's a little while I was cold on playing the ninja at first. It's just like, oh man, you're gonna have to like hit Zeds how many times before they go down? And it's like, no, they got this down, man. You just like slice through them like butter, and it's great. It's like the melee equivalent of doing the headshots with pistols. That feels really good. And then you've got your ultimate maneuvers that every character has, right? That charges up, and you can use it pretty much once per wave. Well, for the ninja, you see, I'm trying to get this far enemy here, this ranged enemy, and I can't quite hit his gas tank with my stars. But he's going to move, and I'm going to use my ultimate on him. There we go. Get over here! It's just like Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, man. I just yanked him right out of the air, pulled him toward me, and then sliced him up. And that felt awesome, right? When there's a big horde, how does that work? Well, actually, you don't just drag one enemy toward you. You like kind of propel yourself toward, you know, the group with your you know, rope spear type thing, right? And you just kind of hold your sword out in front of you, sort of, and just like boom, 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 right through a whole bunch of them. So it's cool. It's you know, sort of contextual like that. I like it. I think it's really neat. So yeah, here we are fighting the Chimera. But I did show this boss, I think, in the other video as well. There's only 3 bosses right now. That's one of the things where, you know, I'm already kind of feeling a little bit like, oh, it'd be great if they could have like another boss in the mix. I do have fun fighting these though, and they've all got things that set them apart. They aren't just like big tanky bullet sponges. Like the Chimera summons a bunch of these melty versions of the clots that come chasing after you. The queen insect thing has got a ton of little like mini spiders that'll hatch out of the things that she brings up in the ground, right? And then the Impaler is like, I told my friend, it's like if an ape and a sword had a baby. And then there's 3 of those things running around. So that's tough too, because you the best strategy there is to like try and kite one away from the group so that you can have the rest of the group manage the remaining 2, and then they can all kind of focus in on the last one. At least that's the strategy I've been employing so far, right? But yeah, the bosses are fun. I just kind of wish there was one more of them. But again, this game's $40. I think it's pretty polished. I do see on the subreddit that there are, you know, clips of like, oh, look at this glitch, look at this, you know, thing. I mean, my response to that is like, dude, making video games is hard, you know, and this is a really solid, well put together game for the most part. I mean, every game is going to have glitches. Like my favorite game of all time, or at least one of them, you know, The Last of Us. That you know, is not without a glitch here and there, right? Baldur's Gate 3, right? A lot of people's favorite game. That is certainly not free of glitches. So I would just say, you know, cut them some slack on little things, you know, like, oh, look at this thing where this enemy bugged out on the map or whatever. Like, yeah, man, it's a video game. Shit happens, right? This is your first time playing a game. not to be completely dismissive, I've seen games that need work, and I don't feel like this is a game that needs that kind of work. What this game needs, more than anything, in my opinion right now, is content. 8 maps is, it's adequate for now, right? They've got the prison map already on the roadmap that's coming before the year is out, along with the DJ Scully character, so okay, check. We've got some content planned. I think, I hope that the game does well, because they're going to need the income to, help provide resources to keep making content for this game and to help it come out at the speed that the fans are going to want it to come out in order to stay interested, right? So if they can manage that, if they can figure that out, I think that's the big part of the battle for this game. There is some silliness here, like I've seen people complaining about like having to exit the when you're in the end of the match here, you want to go back to the stronghold because you can't manage your perks and skills just from like in the menus here. You always have to go back to the stronghold. Yep, I agree with that. I think that that's something they could and should change. I'm not a coder. I don't know how much work that would take to change, but that is something I would prefer to see. And other little things like that, but that's the thing. It's all little stuff. It's all like little, small complaints here and there. For the most part, I think it's off to a great start. I really, really do, man. I hope people check it out. Give it a shot. It's $40. I didn't buy the expensive version. You don't have to either. Jump in on that battle pass later if you want to. But for now, give it a look because I think it's pretty great, and I think it's gonna be around for a while. All right, thanks for hanging out, and I'll be back. Catch you next time.